Okay guys, so we've done a lot of stuff now so far, haven't we? We went ahead and created all of our cPanels, and we went ahead and created all of our subdomains that have the asterisks. And if you did want to, then you went in and did the wildcard SSLs, which by the way is not necessary unless or until you feel like creating a lot of batch pages, right? And you want them to be subdomain based. The way we have our template set up, you don't have to. You can have these be regular pages in folders on the website without subdomain requirements, without subdomains. But subdomains tend to rank better, and that's why we like to consider them. But you can put pages in any combination into any folders and subfolders and subdomains on your website with totalies. And yes, you can do this remotely, and you can make adjustments and updates to these remotely for all of your websites at once. We're getting there. Right now, though, we still have to install the websites, right? We did all this stuff with certificates and everything, and look, it is secured now. Isn't that neat? We got our padlock here, but there's just nothing here. We still need to install a website. So that brings us back to Software Installer, okay? So this part where we created the subdomains, it's done. Okay, I could discard the list, clear the data. I'm actually gonna leave the page though. Now my next step is gonna be installation. Now, I could do individual installation or batch installation. Batch installation is better, right? In order to understand batch installation more readily, let me just show you individual installation because it's kind of the same thing, but batch. All right, so first things first. Once in a while, Software Installer does something like this. We got to fix this. If it does, go up and click here a time or two so you can get rid of the S in HTTPS. Shouldn't matter. It's just you and Software Installer, right? So if I were to do an installation, I'm going to put it where? I'm going to put it on one of my websites. Let's say the first one in the list. Okay. And that would be the domain prefix. Okay. Basically the cPanel username. And we want it to be 7 characters, like I said, when we created it. And then either I'm going to select the top level domain or an add-on domain. I don't have any add-on domains. Reality check is add-on domains are not good for rank. If you're trying to keep it cheap, you can do add-on domains and installations to them. But for most people's purposes, when you're trying to actually think about it this way, add-on domains are really just folders of your main website that have shortcut domain names to them. And that is how Google sees them. So an add-on domain is just a piece of your main domain. According to Google, it's not a backlink. It's not a separate place. It's the same website. So when you get different cPanels, though, those are different websites. So it's good to do this stuff. If you have a server, you can put 3,500 cPanels on there for free. You know, as many cPanels as you have room for. That's the whole point. Okay? So what difference does add-on domains make? Just go with cPanels. Okay, so now, if we wanted to install to a subdomain of our own, like demo.24hourgaragedoorrepair.com, we could do that. But we don't want to. We're trying to install the main website into the root to treat it like the website that it is. Even if it's a backlinking website, like this whole thing. Purpose of this whole thing might just be one more related website that links people over to the real website or websites we want to send people to. Okay, database name. Remember when I told you how normally this has to happen? A guy comes in here, he goes to the file manager, goes to public HTML, he's going to upload a zip file, select it, upload it, go back, he's going to extract it, and then separately what's he got to do? He's got to go to the databases. You may as well use the wizard. And with the wizard, he's going to come up with a name, then the next step, the user with the password, the next step, connect it with full permissions. But he better copy that information down because now he's got to go back to his files when he's done in order to do what? He's got to edit the connection string file for the right information for the database to connect the front end files to the database. By the way, I'm describing that and you might be thinking that's just your software, right? And the answer is no. That's like every website that has fields you can fill in differently. WordPress, same thing. Now you might install a WordPress website at the press of a button and it's happening with that level of automation in the background. That's what we built. So our CMS, same thing. And so when you have the server and you have the software running on it and you have this ability to install websites, you are providing that same level of instant installation and control, but you can also do it in bulk. Most people do it one website at a time. They'd have to log into each cPanel and hit a button to install WordPress or whatever it is. And then it's going to say hello world on it. How useless. Now they got to start at the very, very beginning figuring out what they want to do for their project. And if they want to create another website to backlink their first one and make their first one stronger, they've got to go to a whole nother cPanel and do the whole thing all over again. Hit the button, extract is going to say hello world. Wow. So yeah, we're light years ahead of that because we auto install these things with your settings. How's that work? Because we want to make websites now, don't we? Let's do it. The next step in our file after this bit about creating wildcard subdomains is batch installation. Ah, yes. I forgot, didn't I? Let me finish off this page and it'll make so much sense. So yeah, you got to create a database name, which we can just randomize. You can create a database username, which we can just randomize. And there's the password. You don't even need to bother changing it. What is the file? We're going to pick it up out of our repository, right? Where it is. And so we're going to go get it from the right folder. And you're going to go, okay, that's the zip file we're going to install and the related SQL file you're going to install. And you can decide what the panel password is. Maybe it's hello world, right? It's what you want to use to log into it. So don't make it too easy. But there you go. Security key. This is like an instant access. It can be different than your password. Don't make it simple like this, but if I were doing it for demonstration purposes, I would do like that. So I can show people how the security key works. Security key means if you know what the key is, you don't even need to log in. There's a way to get to any page in the admin panel just through the URL using the right security key. So like your admin panel password, make sure your security key's something you know and nobody else and not too easy to guess. Email address, that's you, right? That's in case you forgot your password. Okay. Whoa. G-man. Theme to HTML. G-man. All right, connection.php is normal. That's a normal connection name, and I'd hit submit. This wouldn't take long. I'd install this website. See what happened here? Instead of trying to understand the steps in here, and then after you create the database, you know what you have to do? Go into PHP-MyM and you have to upload your SQL file. I mean, this is a lot of work. But on this page, we chose, same, got rid of demo, hit the button, chose repository, went and grabbed that, put in a password, put in a key, put in an email address, hit submit. That's it. That's all it takes to do a single installation. So you're just talking a couple of minutes, right? Because it'll install in like 20 seconds. So if it took you 40 seconds to fill this out and 20 seconds for it to install, you're doing 1 a minute basically, right? You would still be chained to your desk if you had to do it one at a time, which is why we don't like that. We like automation. So whether I'm installing 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 7,000, this file does it for me. Let's understand the file. Okay, we pasted in our domain names. We got our 96. That says 97 because we have a header row. You know that. All right. Then we pasted in the same file. Then we made sure there were no subdomains, right? We want to install to the root, not to a subdomain. And we came up with simple DB user DB name. So I did like GDR U001. Okay, again, it's good to have 7. Just think 7's a lucky number for a lot of these things. Then I want GDR name instead of user. So like GDRN, right? 001. Okay. That way I could also do that, and I could fill in my DB password again, just like randomly, capital, lowercase, and numbers, just go through it. Now what? I could literally highlight all those 3 and see if that'll do it for dragging it down. It does. I could just drag it all the way down. So do you realize that these 3 columns that look like a lot of hard to read stuff was just manually generated with you just typing stuff in here, and it's no trouble. Getting these 3 columns was easy. All right, what about the next 2 columns? We got our zip file. Remember I said you have to have a zip file and a SQL file, right? Right. How do we know the names of the paths though? I'll show you. In here, if I go to the file repository, you would just know which one you want to install. You won't see all of this. This is me with multiple projects. Your installer will be right here. It'll be real simple, 1 zip file and 1 SQL file. And if we update it, then you'll get the version 4, the version 5, the version 6, whenever we make updates, right? And you'll just know what the latest one is. So I'm going to go in here because I got to keep my stuff in lists because, you know, I go through lots of files. And I've got the version 4 is still in beta, but I got my version 3, zip file and SQL. See the path? This is that path if I were to copy it. But there's a better way to do it. I just hit the copy button over here. And it totally told me it copied it, right? So I just paste it. Paste. That's it. You saw nothing happen because it was identical. Then I just come back. And again, where's the V3 SQL right there? Copy. Double check that I got the right one. Paste. Boom. So now I can highlight those 2, drag them down as well, all the way down. So do you realize all of a sudden, this is not hard to do. All of this weirdness of print is not hard to do. Now, user pass. That's the password to get in. That's what I was saying, like hello world. Do you want all your websites to have the same hard to guess password? Or do you want them to have different passwords because you're going to assign them to different people or sell them to different people, and you don't want anyone to be able to guess their way around the passwords and all these things? It's up to you. I put a number on the end, so when I drag it down, it auto numbers. See how cool that is? Then the security key. That might be something for my purposes as the webmaster. This is my instant access to all the websites without looking up anyone's user passwords. Isn't that neat? I could share this information with them and teach them how to use it, but I don't need to. They can see the security key in their panel if you allow them to log into their admin panel, but they don't know what it means or what it's for, and they don't bother doing anything with it for that reason. Okay? But you do. This is for you to be able to go into anyone's website on the fly, even from your mobile phone if you're hiking in the mountains and a guy has a problem and you can just fix it real quick on your phone. You don't have to ask him for his password, and you don't have to try to read it and type it in. You just ask him for his domain name. You know what the link is after that to anything in the back end. You can just use any shortcut link you want to any one page in the back end, something you memorize. And from that point forward, you can navigate in his panel as though you logged in with a password. So this is like a webmaster level override. So if the guy's not paying and you're going to log into his panel to disable something and he changes his password on you, you can still log into his panel and deal with it anyway. Okay? So yeah, it is totally useful. Okay? Totally useful. So good cop, bad cop, security key is your friend. And so I make it the same and drag it down. Something people wouldn't understand, but you do. Okay. Email ID. What email? If these go to different people, use their email. If you're going to maintain control yourself, use your email. If you're maintaining control yourself, may as well use the same user pass for it all. But maybe you're setting it up for yourself for now, and then you can sell them off later and just log into each panel and change the email for that guy. So now forgot password goes for that guy. Okay? By the time you're doing something like that as a one-off, it's faster just to log into the panel to do it instead of do it remotely. All right, connection file name, like I said, it's connection.php is that name, right? Very common, industry standard. Most softwares use that name, or they use something like db.php in some folder. All right, this is it, guys. Now, the most common thing that happens is this. You're going to go like this, subdomain, domain, subdomain, data, and you're going to come all the way down to here, and you're going to highlight shift click, right? You're going to copy. And you're going to think, looks right to me. And it's not. But you're going to go to bulk installation, or batch installation, bulk, batch, same thing. And you're going to paste it. And you're going to say process it. And it's going to go all gray on you, like can't do it. And you're going to be like, why not? It's going to say not permitted to connect. And you're going to mess around with checking the passwords and stuff, and that's not the problem at all, right? What did I do wrong? Oh, yeah, see this bar? Oh, yeah, there was one more column, right? So we got to include that column, right? There you go. Highlight. And come back. Discard the list, clear the data, boom. Process. This time, everything goes white. It's verified and ready to roll. I can install. Now, real quick, just to make sure you guys are thinking as big as you should. Every row is a separate installation, as though I did a single installation. But I planned it out. I wanted that to happen, then I wanted this to happen, then I wanted that, then that. I'm getting them all done. Do I have to install the same thing? Does it have to be the same template combination? No. If I make other templates, if I come up with variations, which you can do, and with Software Installer, it is easy to just store all of your combinations for your different industries and purposes. You can cycle across them. You can do whatever you want. Every row is different than the other rows. You may see a lot of similarity because you build it in, but as far as the installer is concerned, this row is blind to that row. They are different. And so if you're installing these for multiple different industries or whatever, you can do it. So even if your domain names cover several industries and you're putting in several sets, and you're changing usernames and database names, instead of garage door, you're doing like PL for plumber or RF for roofer, and you're just trying to keep basic organization that way, and you're deciding which emails some of these go to and which ones other ones go to, be our guest. You are totally free to install hundreds or thousands of websites with any combination of templates that either you make or we make for you. Okay, you can always ask me about that. We make templates for people's needs. Okay, especially the UAPs. That means changing the images, changing the colors to go with, and getting the keyword list in place, right? So that you have a UAP project for your choice of project, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be an industry, it can be anything. Okay? So now that I put that in there, I'm going to install it. And I'm just going to start the installation. That way we can come back and check how many websites we have, right? There we go. All right. Now, obviously, the amount of time it takes to do each installation is based on the size of these files. But do you realize that it got that first one done already? What does that mean? Again, industry standard. Okay? And whatever domain it started with was the 24-hour one, right? Let me just show you. I want to show you because this is so amazing to see it in action. Okay? Can you believe it? I can show you while I'm installing more. I didn't have to take time off. I can just go here and show you. So what happened? First things first. Go in here. Go here. All of this has been installed. Okay? All of the files have been installed, and my connection.php was just updated at this time. Notice how that's different than the other files. That means this got updated with the right connection information for that database. Let's take a look. Okay, just showing you. Yeah, it's doing multiple things at once. So take a look. Database user. Sure enough, it's the prefix, the cPanel username for that first website, and the GDRU001 that we created for database user for that first row. And the database name is the GDRN001. And that password should look familiar. It created that because it created the database on the other hand. So not only did it create that, but what else did it do? It created the database running multiple steps, right? So when it did that, it created the database, okay? And it uploaded the SQL file to it. It created the user and it attached the user to the database, okay? That means this database has a privileged user which has full permissions to operate inside that database. Then when it got all that done, what else did it do? It uploaded that SQL file, got that into place for us. So the SQL file, that holds all the fields that you can change inside a website. Anything you can type something new into, any box where you can change anything, phone number, company name, the forgot password, all that stuff must be stored. It's not stored in the files. The files don't change. It's stored in the database. And sure enough, here it is. That is the one we set up. And if I were to take a look at it, there it is. The whole SQL database, everything related to it. And if I were to go here for the password, which is in the admins table, guess what? My user pass1 password and my role and my security key the way I wanted it. Get it? All this stuff happened in about 15 seconds. And software installers just doing them back to back. About 4 a minute. Could be 3 a minute. Sometimes it'll slow down maybe. But 3 to 4 a minute anyway. And usually about 4 a minute by the time you get through a large batch. Think about that. So in an hour, it could install 240 websites that all have so much power, it's ridiculous. And you can log into them all individually or remote control them with the next piece we have, which is the VAR Sheet installer. And you can do so much automatically inside these websites. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to generate 6,000 web pages onto a website in about 6 seconds. Okay? Maybe 9. Just depends on how many rows are in the file that we work with, how many variables we want to play with. We're going to use a big file. It's got 450 variables. And so, yeah, it'll take about 9 seconds to create 6,000 pages. But what we're going to do on launch is just create like 100 websites. And then we'll probably want to start them off with something modest, right? Watch how Google treats them, like Google index them, kind of get them going. And then we're going to add more pages as we go. So we're going to create about 600 pages per website for our 100 websites. We're going to do it all remotely, totally automatically. Okay, I think you get the gist of this, right? So how long does it really take to do, 96 websites if it's going at about 4 per minute? Well, 96 minutes, an hour and a half divided by 4, really. So what is that? About 20, 25 minutes, something like that, a little under half an hour. So if it's going to take like half an hour, yeah, man, it's my lunch break. The work I'm doing is my lunch break. This is just something I put into motion before I go to lunch. How's this go with somebody else? Hey, man, I need you to install those 100 websites for our clients before the day is done, right? It's like, oh, man, it's going to take him a while, especially if he has to go through manually, which is the industry standard. How long do you think it normally takes to install a website? 5 to 10 minutes to get it right? To log in, to update, to upload, to get the SQL file, and then when he's done, then he has to go here so that he can double click the password and make it whatever it is on his file for that guy after he installs it. Do you get it? So yeah, you're talking like, if he takes any kind of breaks at all, you're talking like 5 minutes per website. So if he has 96 to do, that's like 480 minutes, something like that. 480 minutes, man. What is that anyway, Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Just to think about the automation. 96 times 5 minutes equals divided by 60, 8-hour day. It's an 8-hour day. It would take that would be his job for the day. You know what this is for me? It's not a job. I set it up and took off for lunch. I mean, I'm not even working. I'm just sitting here talking to you. I like you. So, what if you had this kind of power? Have you ever seen it before? If you look around the internet for this kind of control, do you ever see it? We didn't either. We built it because we wanted it. We wanted this level of control for automation purposes, whether you're a single guy working out of your garage or a full-scale nationwide franchise and you're looking to update hundreds or thousands of websites and you need tools to automate that and make that easy. Or if you're just website developers working with lots of clients and you're simply trying to find ways to take care of your clients more efficiently, cheaper cost for them, better websites. Think about it. Every one of these installations, no coding errors, maximize page speed, on-page SEO is about perfect. And we're going to make them all unique. And they're still going to have those great scores. And they're all going to backlink through each other and or to our destinations, one or more. You know, wherever we want, any combination of URLs, whether it belongs to the same website or a set of websites, whether it's all in one city or spread across the nation. You know, what if you took some poor plumber stuck on page 3 and he has 30 competitors and you think, you know what, pay me for 100 websites, all right, get the domain names and then pay me this much. I'm going to set this project up for you to backlink through to you. We're going to create 100 websites for you that are better than probably all of the 30 websites that already exist for your competitors in your area. Okay, we're going to get you a lot of visibility, a lot of saturation, and a lot of justice. You're going to wind up on the front page because of all the backlinking that we use to push you up there. And you're going to have so many extra pages that are optimized for the keywords leading in at you that you're just going to have a whole lot more traffic than you know what to do with. So you can sell the extra leads to your competitors who are going to be wondering where everyone went. They thought all those guys came in through the main keyword. It's not real. They come in through any combination of keywords that relate to their need, whether it's fix broken pipe in the garage or something. Sump pump repair. I mean, you can go to Google and look up these keyword sets and you're going to find there's traffic for them. As you grab these people up, your competitors are just not even going to see you. They don't even know what happened. And all the websites are going to look so unique that no one will even realize that they point at you. It won't even occur to them, right? How's that for power? And that's exactly what we built, and we can use it for anything, anyone, anytime, anywhere, to any level of scale somebody wants. Okay, that is the reason you care about these levels. That's the reason you care about getting a server for $1,750 after you get the $2,500 software installer unlimited version of this installation program. By the way, if it crosses your mind, what if we come out with a different version of the website that's newer? What about file updates and stuff? It's all included. This legacy angle and this UAP, it's called legacy UAP. It means this pre-structured project that's set up in such a way that whether you're launching one website or 100, it only takes you about 20 minutes to set the project up, maybe half an hour. Then after that, launch is just these motions that we're going through, which aren't even hard, and which again can happen on your lunch break or while you're sleeping at night. Imagine a guy goes to work on Monday and he goes in on time and he decides to take an early lunch. And he calls you just to see the progress. He's curious. It's like, how are you coming on his 100 website order? And you tell him, oh, I was about to call you. We're done. It's all finished. It's live. It's running. Now, that's incredible. Now, you might think, well, I don't want him to know what happened that fast. And that's one way to go. Another way to go is he's paying you to make it happen right now. And so you're charging him a priority fee for moving fast on his project and getting it up and live now, right? And so you can present it either way. It's totally fine. I had somebody once say, really, if it's that easy, is it worth that much? It's like, stop and think. First of all, a lot of money went into the development of this. It has to be recovered anyway. But past that, say I want a guitar player to play a guitar for my upcoming birthday. Would I rather pay a guy a lot of money to sit down and start learning the guitar from scratch and then play for me on my birthday? Or would I rather pay that same batch of a lot of money to an expert, a great guitar player, you know, some celebrity who can come and play the guitar? at my birthday. Man, I'd rather pay the celebrity, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you rather pay for the perfect best system instead of for development from scratch? That's just the point. Better to get things done that are already done, right? There you go. And yeah, people pay for it. Okay, I've talked your ear off. We've gone through this whole thing. I don't know how long this thing has really been running because I wasn't paying attention exactly to when we started. You can go back and look. We're obviously way past halfway now. Halfway is like right here, right? So we're like, what, another 10, something like that. Yeah, there you go. I think we only have like 35 left or so. You get the point. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this at this point. You get the point. What's it going to take for the rest? I don't know. But if I were just to have done this, we would have been done already in this video. I was explaining things in the beginning, so we didn't start till later. But yeah, I think you get it, right? 25 minutes, half an hour at the most for this step, which is insane because, again, it can happen while you're asleep or away. You could be at the gym, playing racquetball, doing something with your kids, eating lunch, having dinner with a family, hiking, swimming, whatever you want to be doing. You don't need to be sitting here doing the work. That is not the industry standard. The industry standard is website guys hammering away at the keyboard, sweating, breathing hard, hoping they don't lose their job because they're not as fast as the guy next to them who can move quicker. Yeah, you can literally outdo the industry. That is the reason these tools exist today. That's why we're launching it and going through this explanation. I know it's a lot of stuff to take in, really, but I think you see that this is stuff you grasp. You know, once you get your head around it, it's clear. And yeah, being able to be the average guy and bootstrap your way to the top, we can restore wealth to the middle class by helping the middle class be able to compete with the biggest companies out there for anything you want to do. You can go as big or as small as you want, project by project, guy by guy. Your friends, family, boss, church, clients, prospects, whole industries, dispatch centers, whatever you want to do. All right. Hope you find this interesting.